Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the latest in the Grand Duke Dmitri Diaries series, and I hope you're ready to take a little trip with me back 123 years in time to the 1st of January 1921. It was a Saturday in Monte Carlo, and Dmitri was still at the Hotel de Paris, room 237. And if you recall, he had a very nice New Year's Eve with his friends at the Café de Paris, unexpectedly so because he won 5,000 francs at the casino. And so he was able to host this whole little group. How many people? Let's see. There were the two Polovtsovs, there were Maria and Gulia, himself, of course, and then Sofka, Polovtsov, and then two Radzivils, so 8 people. And they had a marvelous time, and today we have the follow-up to that. So let's dig right in. As it was said in the last book, I arranged a New Year's Eve supper at the Café de Paris. It cost me about 2,000 French francs, but because I was winning big at the time, I found it not only pleasant to waste money, but nostalgic, since it reminded me of the past. I got to sleep very late and in a state of real intoxication. May and Papa Dominic were both also frightfully ill. I woke up with a frightful hangover. But despite my condition, I went to play tennis on the Cap d'Ale with Andrei at Villa Blank. First we had lunch, during which caustic remarks rained down upon me, camouflaged as sweet words regarding my appearance and yesterday's manner of meeting the new year. Naturally, my game was not blank, but compared to my opponents, Andrei and Kshessinska, I still did pretty well. I returned to Monte Carlo at 5 o'clock and set off as I was, wearing my tennis clothes, to have tea with Maria, Gulia, the Polovtsovs, and Gavrusha and Nina. We went to a new and very nice pub called Orest, where we played a Romanian game which we had played at blank in Petrograd blank. We dined at the invitation of Papa Dominic. There were Maria, Gulia, the Polovtsovs, and Dolly. Naturally, we went to the casino and then to the Carlton. There I again blank because I was again winning. I got home late. Okay, so another very nice day and a couple things to talk about. So he won 5,000 French francs and he spent 2,000 French francs on this New Year's Eve supper. A little bit reckless on his part, but I have to say that personally I don't blame him because, as he said, it was very nostalgic. It was something that he loved to do and that he hadn't been able to do, and maybe he didn't know when he'd be able to do it again. So this time, at the end of a hard year, he decided what the heck, and he went for it. And I guess there were 9 people because he didn't mention in the previous diary entry, but this time he mentions that May Dubasov, the actress or would-be actress, had also joined them. So let's see. He and May and Papa Dominic got seriously drunk, and so he has a hangover, but he really doesn't let it stop him from going out and spending the day traveling first to this unpronounceable place for me where Andrei and Malia live, their villa, and then playing tennis. And they are teasing him, basically, about the state he appears to be in, hungover. And how he spent the New Year's Eve celebration. Okay, so fair enough. He's not playing well, fair enough. But he's still better than Andrei and this fellow who's called Kovy. I'm not sure. I don't have my scan of this diary entry right in front of me, so I'm not sure if that's an abbreviation. I have transliterated it KOVY, but it could also be different because it was obviously a word that I found relatively illegible. I have it highlighted in red to indicate that there's uncertainty with that particular name. And then, lo and behold, he has a nice tea with not just his sister and the Polovtsovs, but with Gulia. So it does seem that indeed, as we had an inkling before, that maybe Gulia is getting over this terrible meltdown that he had had. And they're also joined by Gavriusha and Nina, so Prince Gavril Konstantinovich and his morganatic wife, Nina the ballerina. Okay. I don't know if I should have called Orest a pub or not. I honestly can't remember what the word was that I translated. If any of you know Monte Carlo all well, perhaps you can tell me if it's still there. Oh, I guess I can just Google it. All right, they're at the casino again and then having their usual supper at the Carlton, and Dmitri is still winning, although apparently not another real windfall like with the 5,000 francs. All right, so that is a pretty short diary entry. Tomorrow, on the 2nd January diary entry, we have a very interesting one that's a little more consequential because Nikolasha is involved, and Nikolasha was Grand Duke Nicholas Nikolaevich, who had been he was a general staff man. He'd been educated at the General Staff Academy. He was a professional military man, unlike so many of the Romanovs. They all had military training, but he was a person who really made a career in the military, and going way back, had put that in front of other things, and had been apparently very important in convincing Nicholas to issue the October Manifesto in 1905, creating the Duma, and had very much opposed Nicholas's involvement with Rasputin and with the succession of idiotic prime ministers whose choice was influenced by Nicholas and Alexander, were influenced by Rasputin, and so on and so forth. And Nikolasha had a lot of faults, as a general and probably also as a human being. He'd been commander-in-chief of the Russian army before Nicholas II decided to take over, and Nicholas and Dmitri had very much backed Nikolasha in that respect, although I don't get that there was, really any love lost between Dmitri and Nikolasha, although it may just, more than anything else, have been the case that they really didn't know each other, and that Dmitri had always been quite close to Nicholas II, and Nicholas II was not close to Nikolasha, who was this towering figure, maybe close to 7 feet tall, and if you see pictures of him and Nicholas II together, there's a little bit of absurdity there, because the emperor, who's supposed to be cut in the cast of Peter the Great, is 5'6", and his uncle/cousin is towering over him and is much more serious and knowledgeable as a military man. I mean, General Staff, that meant something, even for a Grand Duke. If you went to the General Staff Academy, that meant something. Okay, so we'll talk about him tomorrow. Good Lord, I've already said everything there, that needs to be said about him in attached. Well, no, I haven't, because we haven't talked about what he was doing after the revolution. Okay, so there's that tomorrow. There's more sort of sparring between Malia and Dmitri, and what makes me very happy is there's more discussion of Sokolov and the investigation into the murder of Nicholas and Alexandra and their family. So for sure come back for that. All right. See you then.